This video was sponsored by Coursera. So let me first start off by saying this was not a recent event, and the reason I quit my job was not to start YouTube, because I'm not that risky with my finances. So during my final year in college, after applying to like 100 job positions, I ended up getting 3 offers, and I took one at what I'll just say is one of the large defense companies. And that job started about 4 weeks after graduating, so I didn't have that much of a break, but I was really excited to get started. The job started off with mostly programming assignments where I worked mainly with MATLAB, and my first real assignment was to write a program that could calculate the error in antenna measurements, which I thought was pretty interesting. But the job got much more exciting when I moved on to testing, which I think is where I learned the most because I got to work with the actual hardware of the things that would eventually go into space. I had to learn the ins and outs of the entire system we were working on, and that was definitely my favorite part of the job. But things started to slow down after about 8 months of working there, and that was mainly because it was taking a while for my clearance to come in, which you need in order to work on a lot of the projects at big defense companies. So one day my boss comes up to me and says, we actually don't have much more for you to work on for the time being until all your clearance paperwork goes through. So I said, okay, well, what does that mean in terms of my employment? And he said, well, we're going to keep you employed. It just means that the work you're going to be doing might not be that exciting. And he was definitely right, because I quickly moved on to work that I did not find that exciting at all. It was more labor intensive. It felt like more of an internship at that point. I mean, a lot of the last week of that job involved just doing inventory to kind of put that in perspective. I was going to wait it out and be patient, but I really just got to a point where I was not excited to even go to the job in the morning. I ended up talking to my boss, my parents, my friends, just to see what they thought about the situation. And after a while of just going back and forth, I ended up deciding to quit and saying, you know what, I'm going to try something else. But instead of just going right into a new engineering job, I decided to take a break because, like I said, I really didn't have much of one after graduating college before starting that job. So I moved in with a friend to keep rent cheaper, and I kind of just relaxed for a while until I ended up starting this YouTube channel. I immediately loved making videos, so I didn't want to go back to a typical 9-to-5 job, so I could just work on this full time. Especially because I'm a total night owl. In fact, right now it's about 2:30 in the morning, which is when I love working. So I really wanted to be on my own schedule. But I did reach a point where I needed to make some money, so I started tutoring on the side, which is something I had been doing since I was in high school, and I still do today while I grow the channel. But honestly, I really don't have any regrets about how this went, because starting the channel was something I think was really beneficial for me. And I think I can safely say I've learned more about myself during these 2 years than all of high school or college put together, in terms of my interests, my future goals, and kind of what I want to be doing later. Like, for example, I found out I would definitely be interested in furthering my education to get more qualified for various research positions I've read a lot about, which I find really interesting. But at the same time, I do not want to go back to school until I'm much more financially stable and don't have tens of thousands of dollars of loans still to pay off. I do hope the channel can support me at one point. I think most YouTubers do. And if/when that happens, I think having the freedom to work at home if I want will allow me to focus on the things I really want to work on, whether it be more of this channel, another business idea, going back to school or whatever, while also not having to worry about my finances as much. I was honestly hesitant to make this video just because my situation with my first job was very unique to me, and it's probably not something any of you are going to experience. And I've even said in past videos that you shouldn't just quit your first job if you don't like it, because as you build your skills, very often you'll end up liking your job more and more. But for me, it was just a case of not looking forward to going to work at all and getting to a point where I just said, you know what, I'm going to try something else. So don't let anything I said discourage you or anything like that, because I'm just one person and there are millions out there all with their own unique story, and I just wanted to share mine. Then I was done editing this, but something else I wanted to add on here is some of my input regarding engineering jobs as a whole. Now, you've likely heard of both sides to the story of people loving their engineering job and others hating theirs. I think it's important to note there are engineering jobs that aren't that exciting and others that are. That's just the reality, and no one story encompasses everyone else's. Just in my first year of work, I enjoyed the first half, but not the second. But again, note, that was a very unique experience. I knew people who graduated and said engineering isn't what they expected, while others fell in love with their first job. Just like any sector, there's a huge range of careers and experiences, so you really shouldn't let one single YouTube video or Reddit post or whatever influence your decisions too much. It was kind of tough to put this all into words, but hopefully it provides some insight to some of you guys watching. Then lastly, I want to thank Coursera for sponsoring this video, because as a fan of constant learning, regardless of where you are in school or just life, I think platforms like this are extremely valuable. Coursera hosts thousands of classes including data science and machine learning, to robotics, power electronics, and much more. Their courses come with built-in lectures and assignments to make it feel like a real class setting that you can experience from your computer or smartphone. If you're a high school or college student who wants to start programming, they have beginner courses in Python that take you through the basics and provide programming assignments which give you the necessary hands-on experience. Or if you're more advanced, you can take classes on algorithms or Python programming applied to data science. So whether you're a student who wants to get ahead for the next semester, or you're out of school and want a change in career, or you just want to learn something new, I definitely recommend giving Coursera a try. Plus, you can start any class for free to see if it's right for you, so there's no risk in just getting started. Links are below, and with that, I'll end that video here. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and join the Major Prep Facebook group for updates on everything, and I'll see you all in the next video.